Got it? Okay, we got it. Okay, let me push this. All right, welcome everyone. I'd like to call the Temple City Council and Temple City Unified School District special joint meeting of March 17, 2025 to order. Let's see, we'll start with roll call for the City Council. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilmember Chen.
Here.
Councilmember Mann.
Here.
Councilmember Sternquist.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yu.
Here.
Mayor Chavez.
Here. Okay, then we'll turn it over to the school district.
Right, okay. All right, I'll do roll call for the Board of Education for Temple City Unified. First, I would like to, Board Member Sneed.
Here.
Board Member Georgino.
Here.
Board Clerk Melissa Espinoza.
Here.
Board Vice President Matt Smith.
Here.
And Board President Isabel, I am here. And next we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please rise and face the flag? Okay. Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Everyone, please be seated. Next, we have item 4 on our agenda today, which is public comment. Okay, all right, probably the public comment today. Next, item 5, let's go ahead with introductions. Mayor Chavez, would you like to begin or would you like for us to start?
Go ahead. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll follow your lead.
All right, okay.
I thought we just
absolutely.
introduced ourselves, but it's okay.
Yes, we did.
Go
That's
ahead.
true. Okay, well, I guess maybe we can start with Ms. Georgino and work our way back up, and then we'll go back that way. Is that okay? Just a brief intro of who we are. And
Okay, well, I'm Donna Georgino. I'm Mary Sneed.
Melissa Espinoza here.
I'm Matt Smith.
hi, Vincent Bell.
Okay. When we start with Ed over on the left.
Ed Chen, since everyone's so brief.
I'm Vince Yu. Sorry, I was the one that's late.
That's okay. You're fine. Tom Chavez, mayor for 7-8 more hours. I don't know, something like that.
24. William Mann.
Cynthia Sternquist.
Brian Cook.
Okay.
And no superintendent. Oh, no.
Very important.
Mark Kuna, superintendent.
That was my fault. All
We're
right.
on voices.
Okay, next we have item 6, discussion items. First is item A, Temple City Unified School District's update on our sports complex. And I will turn this over to Dr. Kim.
All right, thank you, Board President Bell. We have Anthony Salazar, who is our Director of Maintenance and Operations, who's going to share with us a little bit of an update about all of the work that's taking place on the corner of Camino and Temple City Boulevard.
Good evening. Sorry. Good evening, Mayor Tom Chavez, council members, Mr. Cook, board president, Mr. Bell, members of the board, and Dr. Kuna. Tonight I'm going to give you a brief or extensive, whatever you'd like, update on the stadium project. So where we are today. To date, you can take a look at some of the photos. We have all of our foundations poured, all of our underground utilities, all new sewer, storm, power, has all been completed. Our turf is scheduled to be completed this month. We have our first lift of all of our block for our building set, and footings for our bleachers and track slated for this week as well, or for this month, I'm sorry. Schedule and timeline. We started this project in the summer with a very aggressive timeline to try to get this project done in about a year's time. With our 2025 graduation as our first milestone. So we started demo in June. Like I just mentioned, all of our utilities and all of our major infrastructure is down and completed. We have start of our Musco or our lighting this month. We are also starting a lot of our foundation work for our bleachers to be completed this month. Again, with our goal of graduation 2025 in May. Shortly after that, we are on target to complete the stadium by our football season, or 2025 football season, including baseball and tennis courts shortly thereafter. What does this project entail? This is really just a full athletics renovation or stadium project. Trying to pay a lot of tribute to their Temple City, roots of green and gold. We really try to color coordinate a lot of what's going out there. Replacing all of our, for the most part, original infrastructure and components of the stadium. So all new bleachers, lighting, all new scoreboard and marquees, full-on video wall is slated for the stadium. We also are moving up our tennis courts up there, up to the stadium complex, and trying to centralize all of our sports and athletics programs. We have 4 new tennis courts scheduled to be installed up in the complex. New baseball field, varsity baseball field, new turf on the baseball field. We're really trying to centralize all of our concessions and restroom buildings to serve all of our programs and athletics. We are also adding a locker room or visiting team rooms up on the stadium, which really trying to centralize everything up to the north. We also have new track and field events. We have a shot put area and a hammer throw area, new jumping events, and then we also increased our track size to include another lane. What we're really trying to do is kind of compete with some of the neighboring cities and bring some of those meets down to Temple City and offer the community, just a better experience to all of our athletics. So I'd like to give a very special thank you to Mr. Jambazian. Some of the images you've seen there are captured by Mr. Jambazian. And thank you for your time. And any questions?
So before we open up for questions, just a couple of things I'd like to add. So as we do this project, our heartfelt thanks goes out to our community members. We would not be able to do this project without the support of our community. This is their support of our Measure S bond back from 2012. Not all of the proceeds from the bond are going towards this project, but it also, we had some matching funds that we received from the state that allowed us to be able to do this. We took this project on with a very aggressive timeline to get it done in order to host graduation, so none of our students would miss out on graduation here at the stadium. And we're tight. And the more rain we get, the tighter we get with this project. And I know because you guys are also doing some work, you understand that sometimes the architects take some liberties with their renderings. It will, for the most part, look like what we shared with you. We actually had to change a few things. You probably saw the 2 different colors on the track lanes. We're going to do a single color on our track. And really the reason is that for cost. It was, this project is pushing $40 million. It is a huge project that we're taking on. But in particular, we're adding, those the classrooms back there in the field house, which centralizes everything for all of our sports, with the exception of our aquatics and those that take place in the gym. But everything else will be out in that area. Our last part of this project, which Anthony was sharing, is the softball project. And the reason why it's closer to the end is because as we were doing this, we kept adding to the scope of work because we wanted to make sure that we included as much as we possibly could. But money is going to be the ultimate determining factor on whether or not we can complete everything that we have put forth. So right now, we are confident that we'll be able to complete everything that we have, but it is tight. So hopefully we won't have any unforeseen changes as we continue the project. But we hope that it's something that our entire community will be proud of. So with that, you can ask Anthony all the questions you want.
No problem.
Does council have any questions?
I was just wondering where the snack bar was.
So the snack bar it's changed location from the east side of the stadium. It'll be now on the west side of the stadium. It'll be on the other end of the track, centralized to our restrooms and field house.
Okay. Can we go back to that picture?
Great facility. I'm just curious, are there any thoughts of opening up part of the complex for public use? Say, it's a great running tracks, right?
Yeah.
Can people come and run at night? Say,
Yes, so that is a good question. And we actually have thought about it and talked about it. There's a couple of things that we have to obviously consider with opening up our facilities. First one being safety of our students. So during the school day, it probably will not be possible to open up for community use. But there are some possibilities on early morning, after school, and possibly on the weekends. But one of the things that we have to figure out as a district and as a board is how do we protect the investment that we're putting in? And it is, like I said, it is a big investment that we're putting in. And so, as long as we can have an understanding where people are taking care of the facilities, I don't foresee any problems with that. I would love to open it up for community use, but we do have to make sure that we have some safeguards there and that we protect the investment that we're putting into place.
Is the seating capacity going to be larger than what was there before, or about the same? What
It'll be larger.
larger?
Yeah, the seating capacity grows about 1,000 seats.
Oh, okay. And you mentioned a field house. Is that going to be storage for equipment, or is it going to be like dressing rooms for maybe the football team, or how's that going to be?
It is geared more towards a locker room,
Okay.
not sports specific, but more program specific
Okay.
to house boys and girls sports
Great.
when those seasons are there, and then football and home or visitor and away. So
And the way we envision it, Mayor, is we have fall, winter, and spring sports. And so if we made it a permanent house for any sport, not everybody would be able to take
Right.
advantage of it. So
That makes sense.
it will rotate. And so I think everybody will have the opportunity to take part in that. And I failed to mention that one of the things we're doing, and some of you may be interested, but Mr. Bell has a flyer a brick fundraising campaign that we're doing. And so we are actually selling some bricks that we're going to be placing at the front of the home entrance of the stadium. We're going to probably do this in phases. We have designed it so that there are sections of the concrete in the future that can be taken out for pavers that can be put in, personalized pavers. And so we could have went and tried to do all of them at once, but I really do feel it's important for generations to come to be able to take part in this process, and so we have plenty of space for future use as well.
Yeah, I think I can recall St. Luke's doing something similar when they were raising money for the hall, and they put bricks, but they kept space open so that future, generations could purchase them as well. It's been a pretty good project. So, I had another question. I forgot what it was now. I think you answered it. But anyone else? Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Council? Yes, go ahead.
So again, first of all, great job, Dr. Kuna, Mr. Salazar, and the whole team. I saw some of the drone video on TempleCityPhotos.com that Mr. Jambazian posted with the not just the ones that we saw today, but as it looks as the construction we're going on. So I think the community is definitely excited. As a Little League dad, I'm particularly excited about baseball. I know our mayors also had a long dedicated service in baseball, but not only that, but serving as a District 18 official for all the Little Leagues around the area. So there's a question in here. I'll get into it. So with regards to the softball and baseball and soccer as well, I think much of the activity has been moved to the JV field, or I think across the street at Oak Avenue. I just wanted to see if there's the district had any plans or vision as to what other possibilities are with regards to Oak Avenue or the JV field. And by the way, I'll buy a brick too.
So the JV field is scheduled to get converted to softball, and really trying to take part in centralization, right? So moving softball up there, they can take part of the field houses, the restrooms, the concessions, all of that comes with it. We've really tried to be mindful on how we're designing these fields so that we don't cut ourselves off with fencing. Softball tends to have a shorter distance and porch. So, allowing us to have removable fences and still keep that open area for other sports such as softball or band, because there is that JV field is a ton of real estate for us.
I also just wanted to point out a couple of things that I think are probably on this list, but we didn't actually talk about. And one of them is our sports medicine classrooms that were included there. We're really excited about that because it's a very popular program, and now they'll have a brand new space for that program. And then also, thinking about our traditions and our history, we have, ways that we're capturing, that history in these memorial towers. I don't know, Anthony, if you want to talk about that.
They're in the slide. There are 8, I believe, memorial tower / time capsule walls. Keeping that opportunity to go ahead and capture future programs, past programs, memorializing them on these. Dr. Kuna's vision in this was really trying to give our students and our community more of a college feel out in the stadium. So you're going to see a lot of that brick that we have encompassed around the site, brick and block, and a lot less chain link out there. And one of those items was the memorial wall, so full brick memorial walls with areas for plaques and time capsules.
When's our tour?
We're probably looking at a couple weeks, because I don't want us to impede any of the progress that's taking place, because we're under some really, really fine timelines right now in order to be done by graduation. And so I'm thinking in a couple weeks we should be able to get out there and take you guys through. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, next year we will be starting a girls flag football program. And so that's the first, it's the first for us, and they'll be, unfortunately, it's also a fall sport. We were hoping it would be a spring sport, but There's some political pieces there. Obviously, the NFL is very involved with spearheading flag football, and so they would like for it to coincide with their season, which is why it's a fall sport. But we already have a very large number of young ladies who would like to take part. I think over 40 signed up already, and that's including students from Oak who would be transferring here next year. So we're excited to see that happening too. So our fields are going to get plenty of use.
Another part of the stands, with the expansion of the seating, is also going to be ADA compliant with special seating areas for handicapped visitors. And at the top of the home side, there's going to be a press box, which is great for our announcer. We won't have to climb a pole anymore. So everything is going to be ADA compliant for visitors who need help.
The stadium is really going to be state of the art with the amount of technology that we're incorporating out there, and list of possibilities that we can kind of show the community and have the kids experience. Dr. Kuna, Connie, and myself spent a great deal of time researching fields, technology packages that they might offer, really to give our students the best that is out there and the latest and greatest. And part of that is that press box that we are getting out there. Trying to partner with all of the stakeholders here in the district that may be able to utilize the tools that we will be giving them is kind of one of the goals that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, very exciting. Looks like a few is striped for football. Would it also could be striped for soccer as well?
Yes, it's also striped for soccer as well.
Okay. You know what? It's funny. I know a lot of the cell site transmitter right now. Actually, on the county side, we've been getting some complaint about cell signal not being well. Would you be locating new cell site transmitter on the lighting pole?
We are starting that next week, or we aren't. Verizon is starting their temporary site construction this week.
So let me answer that directly. No, it will not be on the lighting pole. And the reason being is we had given Verizon the opportunity to give us some drawings of what it would look like on the pole before we went to DSA for approval.
Right.
They did not get us those drawings. And so we did not stop our project to wait for those drawings from them. So now they have a temporary site that they're going to be erecting, I think, over the weekend. And we have talked to them about options for a more permanent site within our grounds. But it's just a matter of whether or not they can bring them up to code for us to be able to support their equipment.
Yeah, because I was hearing that some residents were complaining about the signals not doing as well.
There's definitely been an
Correct.
impact to signals, and that cell tower went out of commission in, gosh, when was it? August?
Yeah.
And they are just now erecting their temporary, and I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, that was approved months ago for them to do that. So it's really in their hands. We haven't put up any roadblocks for them
Great.
on our end.
Good. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salazar, for sharing all that information with our city council as well as our general public. Next, we'll go to item B in our discussion item, an update from the city of Temple City. I'm not sure who is.
I'll start off.
Okay.
Mayor, if it's okay.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Board Member Bell and members of the council, members of the board. We have the fun item for tonight's discussion, e-bike safety and awareness to keep everybody awake. But we know across the county and everywhere, actually in the state, e-bikes and e-bike safety is becoming a real challenge from an enforcement standpoint, and more importantly, what we can enforce. So Jose Amaya, our public safety supervisor, along with our special assignment deputy Randall and Chando are here. We have been having a more extensive dialogue with the school district about the real challenges that we have with e-bikes and what we can do. So, but thanks to the school district, we've been having some more direct dialogue with them about some of the issues that we have with the motor vehicle code in terms of what can be enforced and what can't be enforced, but also to some of the challenges. So with that, Mayor and Board Member or Chair Bell, I'll turn it over to Mr. Amaya.
Thank you, Mr. Cook, City Council, Board. So, as Mr. Cook said, there's been a challenge in addressing issues when it comes to e-bike and e-bike safety. Moreover, the age of the riders continues to get younger and younger, and it's something that we as a community have to take into consideration. And one of the key issues that we need to address is providing education to our residents in order to really address the safety issues that are happening in the use of e-bikes. Mind you, when I say e-bikes, I also include e-scooters, any e-type device that's out there that's commonly being used. So understanding types of e-bikes, this is where the challenge comes in. There's a great variety of types of e-bikes. As they're zipping through around us, it's really hard to identify which is a legal authorized e-bike versus what's not, and how fast they're going and how it's being utilized. So I want to kind of just give an overview in terms of what are e-bikes and how does the state identify an e-bike. So according to the California state, an e-bike is a bicycle with operable pedals and an electric motor that under 750 watts. It has a maximum speed limit of 20 miles per hour and must comply within 3 classifications. E-bike manufacturers after 2017 are now required to include labeling that is going to be identified on the frame of an e-bike. So that should help moving forward to be able to identify the types of e-bikes. But to give you guys, to paint a picture in terms of understanding what the different types of e-bikes are. So the 3 classifications of an e-bike are a type 1, 2, and 3. Right? We have our standard bicycle, which anyone can operate. It doesn't have no motor on that. No age restrictions, and just requires someone under the age of 18 to use and have a helmet. A type 1 e-bike is pedal operated, so pedal assisted. So the only way that the motor is going to engage on this type of e-bike is if someone is pedaling, and that's going to generate the assist of the motor in order to get that. And the type 1s have a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. Again, no minimum age requirement, no license requirement, no license plate needed. And again, if the operator is under the age of 18, they are required to wear a helmet. A type 2 can either be pedal operated or throttle operated. So the motor here can be engaged simply by the use of a throttle. And therefore, on the type 2s, they do go up to 20 miles an hour. No age requirement on that, no driver's license, no license plate, and again, if they're under 18, they do need a helmet. Type 3s, they're also pedal assisted, so this does not have a throttle, but this is the fastest one of the legally classified e-bikes that we have. Can go up to 28 miles per hour, and again, the operator does have to pedal in order for the motor to engage, and it gets up to speeds up to 20 miles an hour. This one does have an age requirement, so you need to be 16 years or older to operate. No driver's license, no license plate, and yes, this one requires a helmet, period. So regardless of age, the operator should have a helmet. And then we're moving into mopeds, which is a separate classification altogether. This would include bicycles that don't have a pedal. So we have, now unauthorized e-devices such as electronic dirt bikes that are out there that can be used. And some of these hit speeds at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, depending. So that's really where the challenge is in terms of being able to identify that and kind of understand what type of e-bike is out there. Especially, like I said, if they're zipping through, it's really hard to get that understanding. So, e-bike riders must follow the same traffic rules as traditional cyclists. So that means that they must obey all traffic laws, all posted signs. They are allowed on approved bike lanes and roadways. Tandem riding is not allowed on e-bikes. So, and I know we've all seen that. So that's definitely a concern. And again, riders under the age of 18 are required to wear helmets. So this is where enforcement can come into play. This is some of the actions that our deputies can take in terms of addressing some of the issues in the use of e-bikes. But it follows. It makes it challenging just because of how agile these bicycles are and how they're going to go. So we want to be very conscious of how we're going to go forward in trying to address this issue. And in talking with Dr. Kuna, the deputies, we feel that the best course of action is to educate our community. So, given the ongoing issues, it's recommended that students and parents be educated on e-bike regulations. Currently, the public safety team has already started a process in incorporating this information as part of our neighborhood watch meetings. Our team is looking to collaborate further with the schools to create an informational flyer, including a link, because there is a free training course that is available through the CHP that will actually generate a certificate of accomplishment for anybody that goes through that. Just to provide awareness, just to provide that level of knowledge in terms of what it takes to operate one of these devices on the roadway. So having that free training course available to the community, we think is a really good thing and really try to help promote this awareness. Additionally, through the public safety team, we'll work and offer bike inspections on campuses. If we need to do that, if we see that there's an issue, we can come around and we can identify different types of e-bikes and draw that awareness to the students and try to figure out a way to make them aware of the type of bike that they're using if by chance they're not. Also, attend events such as Coffee with the Principal and Back to School nights, all in the hopes of creating this awareness. So with that.
Thank you, Jose. One of the things that we'll be doing as well, along obviously with the educational efforts in tandem and in partnership with the school district, some of the things you see related to what the vehicle code allows us to do from an enforcement standpoint, we are going to take a more aggressive stance in enforcing that. I've seen it myself on Temple City Boulevard, some people riding in tandem. So the things that are easily identified in terms of the vehicle code and what is allowed from an enforcement standpoint, that we are going to be more aggressive with. On top of that, educating our community, as Jose has mentioned, in partnership with the school district is going to be the other key element of that. It is a phenomenon that is happening everywhere and with a sense of false security with many people who ride these e-bikes because 28 miles an hour is still a very fast level of speed to be going in any major thoroughfare or any part of the community and the roadways throughout the city. One of the other things we'll be looking to do too is from not just an enforcement, not just ticketing standpoint, but we're asking our team and the patrol deputies as well. If you see somebody who looks under 18, as long as they're doing it legally and everything else, to just educate the community and the community members about wearing a helmet as well. So that's part of our efforts, and we are here for any questions that either the council or the board may have.
I have a question. Is it prohibited for these bikes to be riding on the sidewalk?
It is, yes. They're supposed to be operating on the roadway in following the flow of traffic.
So that's like an actual code?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good to know.
I have a question also. I've seen parents giving their kids rides on, it's usually more of a scooter type of thing. Is that in the same category as taking your child to school on your motorcycle or something?
Right. The only approved seating that you can add to an e-bike. A scooter, by far, is not allowed to have tandem riders, even though it does have, the elongated plate where it more than one person could potentially stand on that, but it's not intended for that. E-bicycles are bicycles that have to have think like a child safety seat that you would see on any other cyclist, in that it has to be affixed to the bike in order for it to be a sanctioned extra seating.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do agree that, we do need to find better ways to educate our community, our families, and the students themselves in particular. I, can understand to some degree some family members who may have had the habit of doing this perhaps elsewhere, and so they don't really understand necessarily all the specific laws that we have here, that are here to protect them, to make things safer.
And I agree. I believe that that's a big part of the issue, is that there's a lack of education of what the regulations are and the safety measures that they need to take on in order to properly operate these vehicles.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Jose,
Yes, ma'am.
the class that's offered by the CHP, is there a cost for that?
It's no cost at all. It's all online. One of the things that we were talking with Mr. Kuna was, if in the development of the flyer, to have a QR code on this flyer where the kids or the parents can just snap a photo, boom, and it's a direct link to that class, and there you go. It breaks it all down in terms of what are the operations and what they can do in order to make bring that awareness. And again, them being able to go through that course and get the certificate just to show that they've completed it, shows a sense of accomplishment in terms of understanding what it is.
Questions, Council? Yes?
I have a question actually for the school district. Do you know how approximately what is percentages of kids riding e-bikes? And do you, from your point of view, see that as an issue? Because I drive to work every morning, and more than a few times I see e-bikes, and I presume, especially on Temple City Boulevard, to come to school. They try and outrun cars, so because they go pretty fast. So I just curious what the school district view of e-bikes.
So I don't know the percentage, but I will say that it increases consistently as far as the number of bikes that are now electronic. And I will also say, just like when phones were first introduced, right? It was a high school thing, and then it became a junior high, and now elementary school. The riders are getting younger and younger. And so my fear is that somebody is going to get hurt. I am shocked that there are no requirements for age requirements, and that there's no real safety requirements for students to be able to operate these electronic vehicles per se, or devices. It is definitely something, and I want to say thank you to Mr. Maya and Deputy Anchondo for sharing with us the information as they receive it. And as difficult as it is for them to be able to identify what is legal and what is not legal, you can imagine how difficult it is for my administrators who are not in law enforcement to be able to enforce what bikes are coming onto the campus. And I will say this, and in hindsight it sounds like we should have known this already, but anything that doesn't have pedals is not allowed on the campus. And so that is something we can enforce, because those kids legally should not be riding those e-bikes that don't have the pedals and are just throttle assisted. So it is definitely a concern that we have, Councilmember Yu, and it is something that we are looking forward to educating our parents on, because I really do feel like a lot of our parents don't know either. And they buy these for their students because everybody has them. And this is what they're able to get for their kids. And so I think the more education we can do, the better off we'll be for it. And I thank everybody for making this a priority for as well for the city and for the district.
I'm very happy to hear that you're saying any bikes without paddles are not allowed. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, so, we do have a duty to, we're responsible for our students from port over port. So by the time when they leave school or to come to school and when they get home. And so if they're operating something that is not legal for them to be operating, we have a duty to make sure that that is taken care of or addressed. And so we will be doing that. And that's something that we can easily enforce with our school administrators as they're looking at our bike racks or whatever and just flagging those pieces that are not allowed on school grounds.
Yeah, I think that's half the battle there, because I was hearing it was the throttle type of e-bike that's giving us the most problem.
Okay. Question?
I just want to piggyback on Dr. Kuna's point regarding how difficult it is to tell the different types of e-bikes around. Even in law enforcement, it's very difficult to look at a bike, what it is. I know it is surprising to me when I went to the Sheriff Reserve Academy that I all of a sudden realized there are all these Temple City High School alumni. I think it's probably the green and gold that motivated them to become sheriff's deputies. But I do have a pretty good cheater that I have shared with our team, but it's law enforcement only, so I'll share with the those members here at this table. It's actually authored by a Temple City alum, Brandon Cardella, a cousin of Detective Cardella here at Temple Station. They're Temple City High School alums. It's complete with photographs, the types of bicycles, and what the laws are. But it is confusing for law enforcement as well, so I applaud the team and the schools for taking a proactive step towards it.
Yes, go ahead.
So earlier you were talking about enforcement. So can you tell us more specifically what that actually entails? Like if you or anyone from the sheriff's side were to enforce this, what does that actually mean for someone riding tandem or otherwise?
Enforcement would come specifically from the sheriff's department, especially because it would be caught on the roadway. So.
Right, so is it like a citation? Is there a fine?
Yeah,
or how does that translate to minors?
Councilmember Mann. So basically, we have discretion. We can educate initially, as with even tickets, right? If we pull a car over for speeding, we don't have to give a ticket. I do have discretion all the way up to the misdemeanor level. Anything above a misdemeanor level doesn't matter, no more discretion. But none of what we're talking about today would qualify for that, just kind of giving us a baseline. In terms of specifically to your question, yes, we can educate if we were to stop e-bike for some type of vehicle code violation. We could cite, and then that would also depend. We are able to tow them. So there's a lot of things we can do. I think the point here today is to sort of try to collaborate together and figure out how far you guys want us to go, because we can go all the way up to towing these off the street, making them come to the station, pay the tow fees, pay the vehicle fees to get those out, etc., etc. And those that could, on top of the fine itself, which let's say it was for running a stop sign. Because as a bicyclist, you're still required to follow all of those rules of the road. That's a $400 ticket. The tow fees from the station is $150, I believe, in Temple City, plus the tow yard itself is $200. You're talking close to $1,000 if we wanted to go that far. And so that's kind of.
All right, let me stop you there. Are you asking us to give you guys the
No,
authority
I'm
to do
telling
that?
you what we can do.
Okay,
My question
okay.
is.
So here's my question to you. You see a kid, 16-year-old, riding down the street, runs a red light, no helmet, and you think, well, that's illegal. You pull him over. What are you going to do?
We can cite.
Well,
If
you can.
we could,
Won't
we
you
could.
cite him and take that? You're not going to allow him to get on that bike and keep riding to school, are you?
one of the things we're going to be doing from a law enforcement standpoint with the sheriff's department too is working with the school district to identify problematic potentially individuals or others. For the person who's doing that, and again, from a law enforcement standpoint, our sheriff's department do have that level of discretion, and they make those decisions all the time. I think at a certain level, we have not towed yet, but I think there will be, after we do some level of education, or unless we see a absolutely dangerous, hazardous condition.
Okay, well, that's what I just described. So what's the answer to that?
In that case, I would hope that the sheriff's department would in fact tow that.
Are we in fact ticketing anybody at this
We have
point?
not ticketed anybody yet.
Not yet.
But
At the moment, we're doing our very best to educate. Right now, we would not like a 16-year-old kid to go through all of that, and that is what we're trying to avoid. However, we do not have a problem doing any of that.
So at what point do we stop educating and start enforcing the law? And I don't know, I don't think you should be answering this, because this is not a city. This is a sheriff enforcement issue. And I think the sheriff should not be taking the cue from us as a city of what we need to do. It kind of reminds me of the problem we're having with the high school and people not obeying the laws. And we educate, we tell them, you can't do that, but they keep doing it. And so at what point are we going to start giving tickets to these people? I mean,
That is absolutely fine.
If
You're
I
right.
may, I just want to say, I think our team does a great job, but at the same time, we're declaring this kind of an epidemic, if you will. That
well, it's not going to get any better, it doesn't seem to be.
Right. So the team, and as well as all our patrol deputies, need to know that the council, as well as the city, supports with strong enforcement action, and that while they can take individual cases discretion, that's wholly within the deputies' ability and reasoning, and oftentimes they weigh that into consideration. But I think we can express a strong desire for more proactive and stronger enforcement, and that we would support such action up to and including towing such vehicles, and then in the city being able to support the team and the deputies that make those decisions, that there's no consequences, because it's something that both the school district and the city have declared a problem.
Who gets the ticket, the youth or the parents?
The youth would be named on that ticket, and I'm going to assume the parent would step in at some point. But the youth, whomever is operating that vehicle, is the one who's going to get the ticket.
It seems to me that, and I'm looking also from a liability standpoint, if let's say one of our sheriff deputies pulls over someone who's riding an e-bike and again has no helmet on, and it sounds like what we're doing now is we may be pulling him over and say, look, you need to have a helmet on, and then we've educated him, but presumably he gets back on his bike and goes to wherever he's going to be going.
So
we don't take the bike away from him or anything like that at this point. At least we haven't done that yet.
So from a liability standpoint, anytime I pull someone over and give a warning, I take on that liability.
Mhm.
Any police officer who gives you a warning has now taken on that liability.
So what I'm saying is if he goes on and let's say gets in an accident
Yes.
and is killed, guess who the parents are going to sue?
Correct. We collectively in law enforcement understand that. However, as has been said, we take all of these things on a case-by-case basis, whether it's a 16-year-old person who ran a red light or a 40-year-old adult in a vehicle who ran the red light. Like, we choose our discretion in the moment of enforcement, whether we want to enforce that person or not, for whatever reason that individual deputy or officer makes in that individual specific moment. We understand we're taking that liability on, and that's sort of a choice that anyone in this profession takes. whenever we make one of those stops. So to avoid that liability, and none of us would do this, but the only way to avoid the liability is to not make the stop in the first place. However, we do it knowing what that end result could be. Same with someone without a license. If I let them drive away and they crash, again, liability on me. Each individual person, though, doesn't necessarily need to be reminded of their legal responsibilities with a $500 fine. Some people, we feel, in that moment, were educated enough just by the stop itself. And so that's kind of how we address those issues in the moment. I can't speak to a future stop, but that's kind of how we look at them.
Deputy, when you pull over someone who doesn't have a seatbelt on and they're under 16, doesn't the parent get that ticket?
Because the parent's responsible in the car, but there is no one responsible for that bike but the person operating the bike.
So you couldn't use the same argument for the e-bike. The parent pretty much has purchased it.
Correct, but the person who has, actually, I take that back. The person who's not wearing the seatbelt gets the ticket in your example, not the driver.
So the child
Yes,
gets
I
the
misspoke
ticket.
originally. It is the person who is not. So if you were driving with your seatbelt and Mr. Cook was your passenger with no seatbelt, and I pulled that car over for that reason, Mr. Cook would get the ticket.
See, I had that situation happen to me, and my son blatantly was, and we were just going to CVS, and I was arguing. He was very young, and he was not going to put that seatbelt on. And I needed to get to CVS. And from my house, the whole thing was an argument, and I got pulled over, and he said, "You're going to get the ticket because you didn't enforce the seatbelt law." I don't recall what happened because I did go to court and the deputy did not show up. So I didn't have to pay for the ticket, but I recall him telling me it's your responsibility. And no matter how much I said, listen, I've been arguing with him, he said, you're responsible for...
Yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the person who broke the law that's going to be the one
so
who gets
they'd
the
get
citation.
the ticket, and then the judge would decide whether or not I'd pay the fine because he has no resources at 14.
Right. And that example, yes.
Okay.
I would ask, I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me do it real quick. Can maybe, as a kind of move on from this too, I would ask our city manager to check with our city attorney to see if there's any future legislation coming down the pike in this area.
Certainly.
I haven't heard any, but maybe there is, some bill or something, because most of these problems that we're having, I think, have to be addressed at a higher level. Because here we're more enforcement, but we can only enforce what laws we have, and it doesn't appear that those are going to be sufficient or not clear enough to allow you as a police officer to really do your job. So, and this is something that we can talk to our representatives and stuff to see if there's something in the legislature, or maybe there should be something in the legislature moving forward.
No problem.
All right, thank you. Go ahead. Council Member Mann had a question.
This is maybe more of an open-ended question for all of us, because I think a lot, I guess the question is, do we actually keep track of, or metrics of, say, number of times you have to stop someone on an e-bike, or any kind of incident related to that? Because my sense is that a lot of points we're bringing to the table to discussion are anecdotal, like we saw this, they saw that. What are those numbers associated with? Similarly to how, on a monthly basis, as Deputy Anchando knows, we have our meeting with the team and our captain, and we get numbers of the number of tickets that the city and the sheriffs have done on any given month. Is this a metric that is being tracked, or is that not part of the current practice?
Like e-bike citations, or just general,
Just
anytime we've pulled an e-bike over?
And any time you've pulled over and the citations, I would argue.
Citations, I don't believe, are tracked because they would just fall under the general vehicle code violations. So we would get a total number of citations written, but not specifically for e-bikes.
E-bikes,
It would just be, we wrote X number of citations that month.
When you pull someone over, don't cite them, but educate them, do you keep track? I think that's what
Yeah.
you were asking. Do you take his name and address and information so that, as City Manager Cook mentioned earlier, we may not get to this point until we know that there's a repeat offender out there? How do we know that?
So anytime that we make an enforcement stop, we do get their first name, last name, and birthday, and then we're required, it's state law, to fill out a form documenting that stop. And so within that form, it asks a lot of questions, but generally, yes, we do track that. So we were required to list the reason for the stop and what we did in that stop, whether we issued a warning or a citation, etc., for arrest and stuff. But
And do you have access to that? So let's say 2 weeks later, you pull little Johnny over, and you say, well, was little Johnny ever pulled over before? Do you have that information?
At a deputy level, no, but I believe our supervisors have access, but Mr. Mayor, I'd have to double check. I can get that answer for you. I do know that me, at a deputy level, I don't, but our supervisors will go over all of our, all of that form. And if there's corrections and stuff, we have to edit those and fix the corrections and errors. So I believe they may be able to, but I'll have to get back to you with an actual accurate answer on that.
No, thank you.
If just this kind of a suggestion for all of us here in this room is maybe we can simultaneously do the collaboration on educating families and students while also maybe buttoning down our understanding of how I heard the word epidemic, not pandemic. That it's an epidemic, right? So to me, an epidemic implies that there's a very high number of these incidents occurring. And to me, what would be helpful to understand maybe from the school side is, are you able to approximately keep track of how many students are coming to school on these vehicles? Because then we'd have a kind of comparative way of looking at the situation on whole. And if we do have, say, are able to identify who these students are, then I think that education becomes more targeted, and I think that becomes more effective. Because part of it is that when you send out these broad messages, a lot of times it doesn't land where we intended to land, and it just kind of gets lost into this void of information deluge that all of us are inundated with on social media, email, whatever it may be. So that's one suggestion, and I'll finish on one other point, is I think language access is kind of a subtext that we need to consider. In one of our previous meetings with, I believe it was with the sheriff's meeting, was trying to outreach to maybe some of the Chinese newspapers. What I would actually like to see us collectively do, and I don't know if it's possible, is to enter what I call the WeChat sphere, which I myself, even I'm kind of afraid to get into that sphere because it's kind of like a black hole. But what I do know is if you could get a flyer or a message into one of those parent groups, I guarantee you it's going to circulate. It's just a matter of, I don't have access to it, I'm just aware of it, and I'm kind of afraid to add myself to it because the moment they find out who I am, guess what happens to my inbox? So, but I think there's effective ways that we can kind of collaboratively get that message out there, but the key is how do we target it specifically to the people that need it?
Yes, I agree with you, and it is something we can track on our end. It's a little bit easier for us to track the number of students coming in on e-bikes. We have talked about with Mr. Amaya and Deputy Anchondo about getting these, particularly that one graphic, which is, I think, very easy to read. translated into other languages for our parents. Posting signage where we actually have our bike racks so that the messaging is going to the students who are riding these e-bikes. And then we also talked about, I think it was much the same as what happened during the winter holidays, where our sheriffs were giving these courtesy notices to people in vehicles that, you know, either leave things in their vehicles or leave them unlocked, just kind of the warning pieces. And talking about doing something similar that we could attach to a bike itself that has a QR code to the CHP training, you know, this graphic, the infographic that shows some of the requirements and whatnot, just so we could be more targeted as well.
I also think that even during like roundup, you know, if you've got an e-bike, there's like, here's information and here's the QR code, and that way we can get people at the beginning of the year too.
I've got actually something else I'd like to add. As people at this table know, I walk my dog around the high school pretty much 7 days a week, and I've been doing this for years. And in the last few years, I've seen a significant increase in the number of e-bikes, or whatever you want to call them, motorized bicycles. And to be very honest, and I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but I've never, ever seen a child who has one of those bikes pulled over by an officer or anybody else. Never. And I've also walked around, walk up to the fence and start looking around, and you'll find there's a pretty significant number of these e-bikes, or whatever version you want to call them, parked outside over here, parked outside by the lunch shelter. It's huge. And I wonder, do we have authority as a school district, or do we invite the sheriff to come in, or if they have the authority? But can we simply, if we have a bike that we know it's illegal to have on the school campus, can't we just place a lock in it and make the child who belongs to that come to the office and fess up and take responsibility, or whatever that might be? I mean, I think this is more what we could be doing. I really do. Yes,
that is actually part of our plan as well. Once we educate our administrators on this and what to see or what to look for, like I shared, I probably should have known that something with pedals was, or without pedals was not allowable, but really didn't know that until after we had this conversation. And so it is something that we will educate our administrators on, and we'll have the parents go and pick up those bikes that are not allowed to be on campus.
All right. Okay.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. No, thank you so much for sharing all that information with us this evening. All right. Next, we have item 2 about park projects. Mr. Pepper.
Thank you, Mayor. If I may,
Please.
on to a happier subject. Our park and open space plan. Mr. Matsumoto will provide a concise and brief overview of what we've done, but just as a little bit of background, in the mid-2010s, the County of Los Angeles performed a assessment of all the cities, all 88 cities in LA County, and they were either deemed park poor or park rich, and they're on a scale. We were, per square mile, we are still considered a park poor community. That has entitled us to some funding that's been not available to us in the past, but the council has made a concerted effort in the last few years to make not only improvements, new park space with Primrose Park, and we'll talk about Sorrento Park in just a minute, but also to enhancing our existing park space. We'll talk about some of the new playgrounds we have and everything else. So Adam will go over some current and future plans, and some of the photos you're going to see today as well are courtesy of Temple City Photos and Jerry Jambazian as well. So if that's okay, I'll turn it over to Mr. Matsumoto.
Thank you again for having me here tonight. Good evening to our Board of Education members, Superintendent Kuna, and our City Council members, and City Manager Brian Cook. So we've been fortunate to have a lot of open space projects on our calendar, most in our recent past and going forward. So this is a highlight of some of those projects that we've either are completed or in progress. We just held our first annual pickleball tournament this past weekend at our new courts that were opened last March at Live Oak Park. We have completed our playground renovation project at Temple City Park, which is located right next to City Hall. We are in progress with the Live Oak Park playground renovation. And then we have two new projects that have been recently approved. We have a open space project at Sereno, that's 5003 Sereno. That's in the southwest portion of Temple City. And then at 9050 Las Tunas Drive, we have most recently been approved to move forward with a park project for that location, and that's at the corner of Las Tunas and Sultana. For our Live Oak Park pickleball project, just as a brief overview, we received a lot of community input about wanting access to this facility. We piloted a program. That pilot program was very successful, and we worked through our city council to then approve those conversions of 1 tennis court to 4 pickleball courts. With that success, we've actually now approved 4 additional courts, so we're actually going to have a total at Live Oak Park, and those 4 additional courts will be completed in May of this year. This is a picture of the original 4 courts that were completed in March of 2024. The Temple City Park Playground project replaced a playground that was in need of replacement well over 20 years in use. So we held a community outreach response workshop. We received over 300 responses providing feedback on the type of playground amenities that they would like to see as improvements. We replaced the playground and also did enhancements on our picnic shelter, and then added a landscape buffer to the north. So this is the rendering of the playground. We had our groundbreaking in March of last year, construction, and then our grand opening, and a few pictures of that day, and then our finished product. So working with our landscape architect, we felt like both them and the contractor did a wonderful job of taking that concept plan and turning it into reality. So we feel like we have a pretty, we were really excited about that. For our Live Oak Park playground, again, it was a 20-plus-year-old playground. Our space theme really was driven by a lot of our community members, reminiscing about the old rocket that was at Live Oak Park. This is our largest playground by far. It's for reference, Primrose Park. This is going to be 5 times larger than the playground itself. So it's really going to be a showcase playground, not only I think for Temple City, but regionally as well. We have a variety of different play components. One of the things that we're proud to say is we're going to have a one-off shade structure design, fully custom, and the playground itself with the safety surfacing. We're looking at having that completed in May of this year. Again, concepts of the rendering. We had a groundbreaking event last summer. These are our progress pictures of the site. You'll see grading being done, foundations poured. The shade structures are the gray structures in the photos. And then you'll see the playground structure starting to get built right now. We're excited about this. The pictures, I think, look fantastic. Being in person is a whole nother level, just the scale and the feel that you get for that. So we're excited about it and having that as an amenity for our residents, our students in Temple City. Our next project that we're currently working on is the Sereno Open Space Project. As City Manager Cook had alluded to, we are a high park need community. We started the demolition of that existing structure, and we're working with a landscape architect, SWA, who also did the designs for those 2 playground projects that you just saw. We did receive county funding for this project, so we have $185,000 allocated from the LA County Measure A funding source. And this really was an opportunity that City Council took advantage of. There was a depressed property at 5503 Sereno. It was very strategically located at a corner lot that really made sense to create open space in an area that has the highest need in Temple City. So we're excited about this project that's coming up. In terms of location, you can see the yellow circle is that portion of where the property is located in Temple City. And this is just that corner lot as I had described. Really, if any other property other than this lot was up for purchase, we wouldn't have taken advantage of it because it wouldn't have made sense to do it. So it was just a fortunate timing for the city to be able to take advantage of that. And then finally, we have the 9050 Las Tunas project. This project was a former site of the old Chamber of Commerce as well as the Temple City Library Express Library while they were doing their renovations at their main location. So we're in the process of developing an RFP. RFP is for design services to actually create that vision of what that property will look like. And we're looking at having that potentially start in summer and then most likely construction running through the end of 2026. Again, just a map so you can locate where that project is going to be done. It's at Las Tunas and Sultana. This is an overhead of that location. And we did some preliminary vision board concept ideas for the project. So this was that vision board that was presented to our city council. And that's the reason why they really wanted to push forward with a park and playground specific projects. So you'll see some of these design elements as used as inspiration as we go through the actual process of design, while we're also obtaining community input as part of the project. And that concludes my staff report. I would like to mention, just from a funding standpoint, I think that dropped off my presentation, but all these projects were funded from a variety of outside sources. So whether it's from LA County and Measure A, the state and Prop 68 and federal funding, we really were able to access those funds so we could utilize non-Temple City revenues to fund these projects, which means we were able to put those funds towards other projects. So we're really able to invest in not only our infrastructure, our open space, and just general amenities for our residents. So with that concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions the Board of Education or the council may have.
The one at where the chamber building is now, is that building coming down then?
It is. So the City Council reviewed 4 different design options. The building itself is just not a great public facility as it stands right now. So to be able to try to maintain that and use it was really not in the best interest of utilizing the funding for that location. So it will be removed as part of the project.
Having been way back in my life, being a young person, I used to go to Live Oak Park, but happy to see a rocket ship come back. Will you have swings for little ones at that park?
Yes, we will. So because of the footprint and the size of that location, we are able to add a lot of different play components, and we would have both regular swings as well as the for infant and younger ones. Yes.
I applaud the city for trying to get as much park space into the city, because I know where the one on Las Tunas and Sultana is. There are a lot of apartments in that area. They're not very close to a park, and that would be a great place as people come into the city to see a green space. So I applaud the city for thinking of using whatever properties you can to increase your parks.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, likewise. I think we all concur with that. I've lived here for quite some years, and even as a kid, the parks that we have at Live Oak and Temple City were so critical for our weekends and the things that we come together as families and community. And yes, I want to commend Mr. Matsumoto, Mr. Cook, and our city council for continuing that effort to find more green space, because green space is so important for a balance in our community. So thank you for all that work. It's exciting, and we're certainly looking forward to the development of these 2 new sites. So thank you. Do we have anything else? No? Okay.
I'll just say it's a dream come true for me, Ryan.
You've told me there, Board Member Georgino, many times.
I actually do have a question, just on behalf of our students. Is the Gaga Ball pit staying at Live Oak Park, and are you adding more?
It's definitely staying at the park. We haven't had a request to look at adding more. We do know it's utilized, but it sounds like it may be utilized more than we think. So that's definitely something we can take a look at. We can actually bring that to our Parks and Recreation Commission as another maybe agenda item at one of our future meetings. But does the school
we
district get?
We have them now on a couple of our school sites, and
Okay.
kids love them. So.
Yes.
And, until about 2 weeks ago, I had no idea that we had a Gaga Ball facility or court at Live Oak Park. Can you tell us all what it is and
Sure.
who uses it? And,
Yes.
okay, and where it is?
Yes, for those that are unaware, we actually, myself, had to go through a little bit of an education process. One of our Parks and Recreation commissioners had a very strong interest and played Gaga Ball. Gaga Ball, I think, probably best described is it's kind of like a mixture of like dodgeball and an enclosed space, but you're kind of bouncing that ball to hit a person and then they're out. But it's a very fast-paced game that turns over, so you get a lot of group play and dynamic. But basically, it's played within an enclosed area. Usually, it's I believe it's an octagon enclosure or a hexagon.
Is
But
that what we have at Live Oak Park?
we have it at Live Oak Park. It's located right next to the playground area and the large picnic shelter. So it's in the shaded area under the trees. It's a very unobtrusive court. It's probably only about 3 feet high. It's made out of wood, and it has a solid playing surface. For us, it's dirt, but for others, it could be cement or DG, something of that nature. But really, you would bring your own ball to that court, and you get a game going, and you just start playing. So we have general public use of it. We also utilize it for our youth sports programs. We kind of have like a summer camp, sports camp that will use it. For our camp programs, we'll take our youth out there to use it as part of just the camp curriculum.
Who plays it? Adults or kids?
All ages, but for us, it's mostly youth that are playing it. But the commissioner that had brought that item to us, they play it as adults as well too.
That reminds me of that movie Dodgeball with.
I would say it's much less aggressive.
Yeah,
It's
I
much safer.
hope so. I don't.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead.
Next.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to make a general comment, not a formal request, but I think that the Unified School District, being the biggest landlord in Temple City and has a lot of playground and other public, other amenities that public can use. I think maybe we can look at potential projects in the future whereby some of the playgrounds and sports facilities that the school district may own, and perhaps we can work together as a city, as a district, to perhaps open up some of those to community use. Like we said multiple times, we are a park poor community, but whether it's the school district or the city, we're both serving the same constituents. I was very happy, and that's why earlier I asked a question. Would this district consider opening up the sports complex for public use at times, when it's not interfering? I don't know if Arcadia still does that, but back in the days when I used to run a lot in their running tracks at night at the Acadia High School. And it would be great to see that could be joint projects between us, and they can further benefit the community.
Thank you.
And kind of a follow-up to that, I had the privilege of attending this past weekend the 60th anniversary of the Temple City High School Performing Arts. It was a fantastic event. It was coincided with their production of Anything Goes at the San Gabriel Civic. And I brought up again, and Art, I wasn't trying to upset, I wasn't trying to steal your thunder, okay? And I did not intend that it was all on you, but I thought, how nice would it be one of these days to, and we're talking about joint projects now, to have our own performing arts center, whether it be on the campus or somewhere in the city, that this fantastic program could grow and use in addition to having others. I know Donna knows that Duarte did a similar type of joint project with the city of Duarte and Duarte High School, I believe, didn't they?
Yes, and the city paid for it.
City paid for it, so that's okay. We can put our thoughts together. There's got to be consideration on both sides, of course.
That's right.
Maybe the land and then the building. So, but it just brought to mind that we certainly the focus is on parks and sports, which is all great because certainly our community can do it, but to have such a project, I think would benefit not only the schools but also the city as well. So maybe that's something on the horizon that we can certainly talk about moving forward. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, okay, let's go ahead and move to item 3, which is a report on the status on our joint use of facilities agreement. I'm not sure.
Board Chair and Mayor. Real briefly, I'll have Mr. Matsumoto stay at the podium. We re-engaged almost a year and a half ago with a joint use agreement between both the school district and the city, which has allowed us to provide some of the programs that we provided pre-pandemic and actually expand some of those. So we found this has been a very successful, and we've heard some of the comments tonight as well, to look at other chances of collaboration, and we will be bringing back to our council and my colleague superintendent will be bringing back to the board, extending that joint use agreement as well going forward. And Mr. Matsumoto, you want to give a brief, quick overview?
Sure, absolutely. So we've been working in coordination with the school district, with Superintendent Kuna. The joint use agreement has been a great success, I think, for both parties, both the city and the school district. The term does end in the end of May of this year. We expressed interest to the school district, and they reciprocated that we would like to extend that agreement. I think maybe even potentially expansion for some of the uses, but for the city, what I can speak to is it's been a huge benefit for our STARS Club program, which operate at the elementary school sites, as well as our youth basketball program as well. We have utilized the school district facilities for our Temple City's Got Talent program, and for the city, we provided space for various programs for the school district, for the individual schools, the end of school year parties at the park locations, and we're actually looking at potentially assisting and helping out with a adult school program as well now. So I don't want to speak for the school district, but definitely for the city, it's been a wonderful partnership and getting the joint use agreement done, and we look forward to continuing that.
Yeah, and I would echo what Adam shared. We think it's been beneficial as well. There's a few things that obviously we had, written in the onset that we might change. For instance, we don't use Live Oak now for the welcome back for our staff. We actually hosted at the high school. But the fact that Founders Day is in there, and it's something that our PTA has every year, and now that we're working on a English as a second language class for our community members during the school day. The hardest part for us is we can't host it on our site because it's difficult to find a space that would not commingle students with adults. So reaching out to Adam and seeing if there's a place that we could host something through the city, I think it would be beneficial for our community members as well.
That's it. We're here for any questions.
Just a couple. I know. I also want to thank the school district. When I attended school here, I remember taking classes at Pasadena City College, Rio Hondo College, another community college, as part of the mandatory or compulsory education. I got to enjoy taking those classes and got quite a bit of college credit when I entered college. So I understand from our PCC trustee that represents the area that there is a partnership with the schools to provide PCC classes on campus. So though it does not fall in the city-school partnership, but we appreciate you offering that amenity or that service to our residents and our students. There is potential. I think I've asked the city manager to look at a vacant. It's a private property right now. That would be adjacent to the Oak Avenue sports area. I think you're far more visionary than we are sometimes with the pickleball courts that are in the back over there. And I'm the only probably council member that did not get an applause when the pickleball group came to talk about the conversion of the Live Oak Park course, because I was almost...
At the tournament yesterday, they had your photo on the fence.
Well, it's deservedly so, because I was almost ready to vote no, because I feel like there's a lot of possibility where Oak Avenue, the school district, could provide that to a community use that could benefit both the community, and likewise perhaps we can benefit the school district by providing access, security, as well as other forms of assistance because of the some of the one-time use and the creativity of this council that I just joined back in March. They were able to leverage outside dollars to build a number of parks, and I hope we're not done. We can continue to move forward. So I just wanted to put that on the record to see if there would be interest in a discussion about Oak Avenue, the sports facilities there, and also a private residence at 9089 Emperor Avenue, where I've instructed the city manager to look into the possibility of some type of a project where we can provide community use and access.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that looking at future opportunities to further collaborate, I think it's in the best interest of both the city council and the school board as we serve our students and our community at large. So, okay, there are no other comments in that regard. Thank you very much, Mr. Matsumoto. Next up on our agenda is communications between city and school district.
For Chair Bell and Mayor Chavez, do you mind if we combine C and D real quick together? They're kind of the same.
I don't mind.
Thank you so much. Generally speaking, and I'll turn to my colleague really quickly, we have great communication with the school district. Art has no problem, and I have no problem calling Art on a moment's notice, weekend, whatever it may be. If our most recent wind event and the tragedy that happened in Altadena is one indication of that. We had a tree down near one of the schools that was going to be very complex for us to address, and working with Superintendent Kuna was great. So on a day-to-day basis, our communication is outstanding. One of the things we'll improve on our side, on the city side, is making sure our council is aware, because our council loves coming to school district events and enjoys being there. So we'll do a little bit better job of trying to put, not necessarily, for lack of a better term, kind of a master calendar for us, so that we're ensured of when events are happening, and we'll make sure that we strengthen that communication on the staff level to make sure that everybody's is aware of some of the upcoming events and activities that the school district is having, and vice versa for your colleagues as the school board about the events of the city as well. Even though we do publicize that, but just making sure that that's there. But I don't know if anything my colleague wants to add.
No, I would echo your comments. I think communication has been outstanding. I think where we continue to try to improve, and it's the hardest part is really when it comes to safety impact to school sites, whether it be, if there's a helicopter flying above, or if there's something that we need to go on lockdown for or whatnot. Sometimes it's difficult to know who to call, but we're working through that because we don't always have the information on what is taking place near us. But Brian is very quick to respond whenever I call him, so I appreciate that.
So we will look towards, again, a more better, at least on the city side, a better master schedule too for all the school events as well. So it's on everybody's radar.
Cesar Chavez Day tomorrow at the Emperor. I was invited for obvious reasons.
Okay, all right. Now that we've covered both those areas, next we have discussion for future meetings. I don't know if anybody here has any thoughts or ideas about that.
I have one thought, Vincent, and I don't know why we didn't have it on this agenda, but I'd like to maybe get an update on the Doug Sears Learning Center. It looks like it's all coming together and getting there, and where we stand. I know we've talked about it at our standing committee meetings, and we can share that, of course. We can do it that way as well and share with the rest of the council, but it's close, it looks like, right? Pretty much finished?
Yes. It's surprising to me that it's taken as long as it has.
Really? It doesn't seem that long. Maybe.
But it is probably something that we will have an open house for our parents and students that are going to be there, but also to the community that live around the Doug Sears Learning Center. That'll probably take place in April, and we'll invite you to that. There's a good portion of work that is going to be taking place over spring break, which is next week, and you'll see that the asphalt in the parking lot is going to be redone. The slurry coat and striping will be redone, and then the wrought iron gate or fencing will be put up, all hopefully over that spring break, and then it'll be completed at that point in time. The only thing that we would have outstanding over there is a fire hydrant that needs to be put in place. We've been working with the water company, Sunny Slope, and they have placement for where they're going to be putting that. It'll be probably in the alleyway back there, just off of the side adjacent to our property. And so, hopefully within a couple of weeks that project should be buttoning up, and we'll invite you to the open house when we have it.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Yes.
I think if we could, I'd like to see that at our next meeting or the one beyond that, that we work on collaboration with emergency preparedness, just in light of the recent fires, and it's been some time since the city has engaged in those activities, but just to collaborate somewhat. So if we could put that on the agenda, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, if nothing else, we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Seeing, Mr. Jambazian, I was hoping you would.
I have three.
There you go. You do. Great.
First one is, I forgot. The e-bike presentation. I know that the school district and the city at times have put on bike rodeos. but maybe an e-bike rodeo in the fall would be appropriate at the high school here and be kind of a fun event and kind of make the kids aware of what's required and that type of thing. Number 2 is I'm excited about Live Oak Park Playground opening, and I would hope that high school graduate and astronaut Steve Lindsay would attend, and just want to make sure that that's on the radar and that he would be here for the rocket ship grand opening at Live Oak Park. So that would be great. The last thing is, I was excited about Anthony's presentation tonight, and this is the first that I'm hearing that there's going to be video on the board. I thought it was kind of big and black and empty space, but I didn't realize it was a video board. So are we going to be state of the art, and are there any other schools in the area that have this kind of technology? We're it. Great.
Yes.
Those are my 3 comments.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jerry, does Ron sell e-bikes?
Yes.
Yes.
I wonder if that might be an area where we could
Yeah.
get into. And
He has put on a bike rodeo at Live Oak Park at
Yeah, I know
times
he's done that
in years
before, but
past.
I mean, it's a source of sending out information through his shop, maybe provide him some
Yes.
information, or that he can give to whoever purchases one. That would be a good start, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be something, yeah.
All right, very good. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing on. Those are things we're certainly looking forward to. So next we'll go ahead and move towards closing comments for both our City Council and our Board of Education. Would anyone like to share any closing comments? Yes, absolutely, yeah. I think we'll go ahead and we'll start this way, and we'll do the wave. We'll go in that direction. So, please go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to thank especially Brian and Art for putting together this meeting. This is something that I know we've been trying to do for years, literally. I think it's been 9 years since we've had it. 8. Oh, well. Yeah. So either way, it's been a long time, and so I'm hoping that maybe we can do these more frequently because I think we've accomplished a lot tonight. But at the very least, we send a message to the community that both of our governing boards are willing to work together for the betterment of the community, and I think that's a real important message to send out. So thank you very much for the meeting tonight, and I look forward to one, maybe like one a year would be nice.
Thank you. Yeah, to echo what Member Georgino just mentioned, I was thinking about this ever since we planned this meeting. Whatever the district, whatever we do, it's benefiting our students. Whatever you're doing, it's benefiting the community. But working together, it's benefiting everybody in this community. We both have the same feeling that we want people to be involved. Families get involved in our schools. And that's reflected also in how many people become involved in city activities. We have a very high volunteer rate in both cases. So I think the more that we cooperate and work together as a district and as a city, it can just add to servicing the community as a whole. So thank you, Brian and Dr. Kuna, for arranging this tonight. And even though we have a small crowd here, I'm sure those people will see it on Jerry's website. And they'll see that there is a cooperation going, and we're not working against each other, we're working together.
I have the same sentiment as my fellow members here in terms of, the benefits of collaborating. But, that said, I also want to just say that, I appreciate even just the friendship, the camaraderie that we have between our organizations. We see each other at events. We have a very good relationship. formally and informally, and we would just like to continue to develop that. And I agree with Member Georgino, maybe once a year or, twice biannually, something where we can come together and talk about, what's top of mind. So thank you for the partnership.
Ditto. Man, a few words.
Yep. Well, yes, likewise. I think that it's very clear that all of us here in this room, not just those of us that are sitting behind the table here, are truly vested in our community in all sorts of ways. And our ultimate goal collectively is to watch and ensure that our city, our schools, our community in general continue to thrive. And we're all doing our part. As my fellow board members have said, this is such a nice opportunity to be able to have this dialogue. I know we haven't had one in person in 8 years, according to Mr. Jambazian. I do remember vaguely the last one that we had, and certainly looking forward to having more of these, because I think that's the best way to kind of really understand, as current affairs go, the things that matter to the city, and also likewise for us, and the things that matter to our schools and our students. So I want to thank you for being here this evening for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it down to you guys. Thank you.
I think we need an extra symbol that's just a Venn diagram with both the school district and the city seal intersecting, because I think that's really what we do and we want to do. And the people in the middle are the community and the students. So I'm just very appreciative for today, and I would just like to invite the public that's going to watch, hopefully, and all of you, to come celebrate Tom Chavez's year as mayor. I mean, he really has done an excellent job of reaching or attending school district events, and I very much applaud him for that. So thank you, Tom.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
I want to concur with Board Member Georgino's suggestion about meeting once a year. I think part of what Mayor Chavez and I, we're biased because we're on the standing committee of the school district. So for my perspective, it feels like we talk all the time. But I'm seeing the perspective of the two joint bodies kind of fully together and meeting sets a different tenor and tone. And certainly I agree that it is a good model to set for our community. So I would hope that we work towards trying to make it at least once a year. And again, I won't repeat the comments. I fully concur that we're serving the same community. And me kind of being a parent, I guess I see more the school district side now, the longer my kids are in school, and can appreciate the perspective and the concerns that you kind of bring to the table that perhaps from the city side, it may be our blind spot. So to kind of merge those two together, I think there's a lot more we can leverage, to be honest. I think we're kind of just barely touching the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. I think there's a lot more we can do, and looking forward to all the future possibilities.
Thank you. So, when Vince and I first got on the council back in 2009, these two bodies could not be in the same room together. I know Matt can remember those days. Things have changed significantly, and as Councilmember Mann mentioned, I think the standing committee meetings are great. They go a long way to keeping both bodies informed. We always report out, and I'm sure you guys do too, and it's a good thing. But I think these joint meetings is certainly something that should become a habit. I couldn't believe it's been 2017 since we've done one.
March 2017.
Well, of course, we had a little COVID something in the middle there that probably got in the way, but it's certainly something I think that lends itself well, and again shows the not only the camaraderie, but also the fact that we do represent the same constituents, the same children, the same parents, and we need to get along and do what is best for the community. And I think we've done that for the last few years. So I applaud the board for helping on that, and certainly Dr. Kuna for all he's done since he's been here. How long have you been back now? Is it 3 years or
This is my third school year. but-
third school year? Okay.
2.
Time goes by fast. So as Councilmember Sternquist mentioned on the attending the school event, I do enjoy that. I'll just share with you a real quick story. I was talking with Principal Topalian at the event on Saturday at the San Gabriel Playhouse, and he told me that he saw a 3rd grade student from La Rosa and went up to him and said, "Hey, I read to you on, because and Mary was there too. We read to the 3rd grade classes at La Rosa, and he told me, yeah, I read to you." And kids look up to him. He says, "No, you didn't. Mayor Chavez read to us." So I remember. I thought that was pretty cool. But no, it's and just a real quick note about the performing arts program. I know many of you probably attended it. It was so great to see all these young students. I mean, Carol Ann Worthwine was on my Camellia court as a 1st grader. And now she's back choreographing most of that program as an adult. And it's just amazing to see them all come back. Leanne Baroldi was saying. And so it makes you, and I told it, kind of makes you feel proud to be part of Temple City. It really does. And a lot of that credit has to go with what you guys do here at the school. And as I mentioned during my State of the City address, we know and we understand that one of the reasons people still want to move to Temple City is because of the school district. And we appreciate that very much. So thank you.
Well, I echo everything that's been said, and want to applaud the school district for all the great things that you have done. And echoing what the mayor just said, people don't necessarily know Temple City if not for the school district. And as the 2 largest agency in the geographical area, there's no reason why we shouldn't be working together. I mean, because each agency has so much, ability to do stuff, and with us working together, there's just no limit to what we can do for the community. So, looking forward to doing more with the school district, and also want to thank you for hosting this event. I just wish that we can sit a little closer together. I have bad eyes; I can hardly quite see you guys. But,
Jerry, on your photo, can you put us together a little closer?
Yeah.
I would have set up 2 cameras if I knew it was going to be this way.
Thank you.
I'll do everything Councilmember Mann says, because having my son in the school district, and as he grows and really just the experience itself really makes me appreciate everything that the school board has done. I spend most of my time on the Little League field now, and that's on the Longden School campus, and where I see Board Member Smith and his son also took on managing a team, and just a great community field. So I really appreciate all of you, my colleagues on the council and also the school board, for your service, and just the sentiment out of this meeting. I feel really positive about the city and the school district's future, and my kids in it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time this evening, for sharing thoughts and ideas, and hopeful for future collaboration. We, as a Board of Education, really also lean on the city for your support a number of different ways, as we have discussed this evening. We believe in the same idea that working together is always going to be a positive for us and Temple City as a whole. And now I would like to go ahead and call for adjournment. I don't believe that this does require anything besides saying that. And so thank you very much for your time this evening.